To be diverse in English, I think we can look at a two-pronged approach, because generally speaking, when we talk about secondary English teaching, we are delivering two qualifications and two curriculums side by side. We're looking at English language and we are looking at English literature. And we want to be able to do, what we want to be able to do is ask students to question why we look at language in the way we do and what we're looking at and why it's important. So for English language, I think it's really key to understand that language is an evolving and organic matter. And the reason that we've arrived at the point that we're at now with language and the way we use language is there's been a history and the context that has led us to that point. And I think understanding that is really important. I think it's incredibly important to reflect the diversity of our society. And so if our society is made up of 50% men and 50% women, then surely our curriculums should also reflect that. And where we have got a very multicultural and diverse and evolving society in 21st century Britain, why isn't that being reflected in a diet of literature which we share with our young people? Because otherwise their view of what literature looks like is incredibly distorted, and it's not reflective of the world that we live in. And representation is key and does matter. So having a variety of voices, having a diverse range of voices and narratives in the literature that you're exposing students to is vital in so many ways. And it shouldn't be that it's the only when they encounter material independently that they're experiencing diverse forces and narratives. There's a whole issue with regards to context and understanding why 21st century Britain looks the way it does. And I think stories are so important. Stories help us understand why we look the way we look, why people are here, why people have come, where did they go? What did we do to create this situation whereby we have got people from all over the world, and not telling students or sort of sharing the idea with students that we only live in a silo. Actually, we're all citizens of the world, and I think that there's a really powerful message that can be conveyed and shared through the diversity of what you do in the classroom. I think that the impact in the classroom is really the understanding and empathy that you want to evoke and create in young people, so that we have a compassionate, considerate and understanding society. I don't like the word tolerant, but I know that's battered around a lot and has been in recent government policy about tolerating other parts of British values. But actually, it's not about tolerating something. It's about accepting and understanding. And I think that the role of literature is such one that can play a pivotal role in understanding your fellow human beings' journeys and understanding their struggles and challenges and being compassionate and accepting of that. And I think it's also important to have those conversations. I think there's one thing sharing a story, but that story can often be a springboard into some really powerful conversations in the classroom. I think schools can support greater diversity effectively in a sort of multifaceted approach. And I think every curriculum area and pastoral area within schools have got a responsibility to deliver a provision which is diverse. And what I've led on in a whole school capacity is that diversity can be accessed across subjects and across key stages. We're preparing these students to be citizens of a 21st century world, not just the UK. And I think understanding that and being able to incorporate that as a school, you can then be on your way to creating a curriculum and a provision that would be suitable for a 21st century global citizen. I think we have to tread the path that has been less worn in order to make inroads with diversity in the curriculum. We have to go down a road and create the diversity of work and look at diverse text and diverse writers in English. And it might be just as simple as actually including more women on your curriculum because you don't have any female writers. I just don't see enough women on some curriculums and curriculum maps for English. because there's a very traditional concept of what we cover in English, the idea of the canon, which features a lot, which of course is highly regarded literature, but actually it can be quite limited. So although there is a time and a place for your Dickens and your Shakespeare and your Chaucer, absolutely, but at the same time, what are we countering that with? Where are our female writers? Where are the diverse writers, the different heritages, the different religions, and the different parts of the world? Where are those stories being reflected? So this has to be embedded in long-term maps and curriculum plans. And I don't think an ad hoc approach would be effective. And there wouldn't be a succession and legacy if it was done purely on an ad hoc approach. And I think it has to have the buy-in from English departments, of course. You can't do it on your own. But I also think there has to be a holistic whole school approach and buy-in. I think if you can see a moral purpose and a moral imperative as to why this is so important, teachers, educators, English teachers, and teachers across curriculum areas and across school communities can be incredibly integral to that incredibly powerful journey that will lead us to a diverse curriculum.